Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we are going to be looking at the charts, but at a higher time frame. People are very, very worried right now. I see in my comments on social media, on Twitter, YouTube, everywhere, there is a lot of panic. But you have to realize that you know, everything mirrors itself in life. And there may be lots of panic now, but in the future, when everything is green for some time, there's going to be all time euphoria, all time hype, where everyone says, this is going to continue going higher and higher and higher and higher, right? Talking about certain prices, of course, right? Whether it comes to Bitcoins or specific altcoins or, just anything, right? When something starts dumping, people say it's the end. When something starts pumping, people say it's going to the moon forever. And this is why so many people struggle with making money in the markets and with trading and anything to do with money. So we're going to break things down from a logical standpoint. We will start just momentarily on a micro level, and then we're going to look at the bigger level. So we can see in the last 3 days, we have dropped a good amount. We have dropped, pretty much 11,000 for Bitcoin, which means, if Bitcoin is dropping and pulling back, 10.5%, then obviously altcoins are going to most likely suffer at least double at the minimum, right? When I go on the very, very small time frame, right, on a very small scale, we can see Bitcoin is just chilling here, right? And for me, this does not ultimately matter, right? This for me does not ultimately matter in the grand scheme of things, like all this small price action. At the end of the day, I am looking at the bigger level. Now, when we zoom out, right, let's say we go to a monthly, right? Okay, let's see it on the monthly, right? We can see, ladies and gentlemen, right, that look, Bitcoin historically, right, no matter where you bought it, has always done well. And this is the only pretty much currency out there and thing in the world that if you bought Bitcoin at one point, then you're always going to be always in profit. Even if you bought in the last highs and you held, you would have eventually broke even or even been in profit right now. When we look at the more relevant data, and we will jump into altcoins in a second, right? We can see, we had months of consolidation on top of a huge, right, support and a huge resistance turning into support, right? And it took months of this sideways data to make it a floor so we can push further up. So for me, even though we did push up and we are having a red month and we did have a red December, for me, this is not too much of a big, big worry sign, ladies and gentlemen, right? And the reason why I say this is because if we actually look at previous data, we can see that last cycle, we had something very, very, very similar, right? We had something very, very similar where we were pumping, right? We broke through, right? We had this consolidation zone over here. Sure, it didn't take that long. It took, a couple weeks at most, to kind of chill around this area before we broke out, right? Around 18,000, and we finally broke out. And then we had little pauses here and there, roughly around 23,000 to 24,000. And then we just kept going up and up and up. We went to 41,000, 42,000, and then we had a decent retracement back down to pretty much, 30,000, a little bit lower. But we did chunk about 25% or more, 25, 30%. And, people already thought here, oh, this is doomsday, this is bad, especially when a big dump happened from 35,500 to 30,000, like a $5,000 move, almost $6,000 move back then was seen as damn, like that is huge. You got to realize that is what, like almost a 10% move. Yeah. People are like, whoa, people thought this is the end. But look, we could see over here, right? We had a lot of support and resistance. And, off the support, we eventually bounced up and continued going higher. And it was the same thing with this, right? This was just consolidating, going sideways around this, all time high, turning it from a resistance to a support. And then it just broke out that, it didn't make sense for the cycle just to end, just a couple of weeks after. And for me, it's the same thing here, right? It's the same thing here when we go back to this price action. Yeah, things look absolutely bearish, and we could even see lower levels of 87,000, somewhere here. But ultimately, at the end of the day, right, whether we support and hold the line here or go a little bit lower, ultimately what I expect is to continue going up, because like I said, everything looks bullish. When we go on the 3 month, right, we could just see 3 month was retesting off here, had a huge rejection, went up, right? We could see it looks good. When we go to altcoin season, right, the altcoin index, we see on the big time frame, right? We can see we broke out last time around, we dumped, we consolidated here, we created a reverse head and shoulder here, and then we retested over here, pretty much like I said, like the summertime, and then we started to push pretty much, September, October, and etc. And now we're just playing a game of ping pong, right? We retested off of relevant highs. Now we're ping ponging down, which is normal. But then the next move is going to be ping ponging up and breaking through. Once we break through, we will be fine. I've also said multiple times through history, altcoin, altcoins and Bitcoin and market makers in general, they want to shake people out before the big bang. And one of the reasons is because, ladies and gentlemen, you have to realize they don't want people to turn $500 to $1 million through leverage trading, right? They don't want you to catch the bottom of something and just let it ride on insane leverage and turning you into a millionaire overnight. That is the reality of, the market makers. They don't want that happening, right? They don't want that. But look, regardless of that, we can see everything on a higher level is fine, right? We can see it when when we go to another chart like the total market cap, right? You got to remember, right? We got to remember that we are still, above the previous all-time highs over here. Boom, 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 right? We can see these were the all-time highs over here previously, and then now we're kind of chilling on top. You got to remember, well, what did Bitcoin do when it came to its top? It was chilling for months. Now, I don't think we're going to be chilling for months, but it was chilling for some time. And then guess what happened? It expanded. Now, I did have this drawn up, but you got to remember, right? This is given within context, right? So this is sometimes I will tell you exactly what is happening. Sometimes I'll give you speculation. This was just speculation based off data. But we also did know, and I did mention multiple times on this channel, that I did expect multiple pullbacks, at least two more before the big pump. And we're getting one now. So I expect still one more dump. Most likely, whatever happens now, we will recover. And then we'll probably get dumped one more time, get shaken out here, and then pumped, right? So just keep that in mind. So once again, look, I know this is the total market cap and it's very similar to Bitcoin because it kind of like literally is, right? But everything historical data suggests big pump. Now, look, if we look at the yearly, it doesn't really matter because we only have 9 days worth of data you know, in January. So that's not even worth it. Same thing with, the monthly candle for January. It's only 9 days worth of data. So you can't really look at that just yet. The only thing we can really do is look at the weekly, right? The weekly, sure, it's red, but I mean, look at this. Everyone thought this was doomsday, and then we recovered, and then everyone thought we're going up again. So it's the same thing, and it was the same thing all the time, every time here. Oh, red, dead, green, up forever, red, dead, green, up forever, and you know what? You just can't get too zoomed in on these levels, right? Especially that the data, historically suggests we will be fine. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. I'm going to break down another coin in the future. But yeah, this is just an overall market review. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Don't worry. Goodbye.